Hello, welcome to makinglifedeeper.com. So the world is kind of going crazy right now. We are fighting the coronavirus, and this has been going on for a while internationally, and now we are really at the cusp in the United States of fighting this. We've closed everything down, we're staying at home, and so things are just a lot different than when I started the emphasis of creative dates in January 2020. So I had some regularly scheduled posts to share with you, but I thought I would share a creative date for the at-home environment today. And it's not as creative as it is intentional and needed, because being at home all the time, you're gonna need some ideas and some structure to make some of it more intentional and creative. So before the quarantine even started, I had read a book called 8 Dates, Essential Conversations for a Lifetime of Love. And this book is by John and Julie Gottman. And each chapter, it was 8 chapters with a different topic in each chapter and a suggested conversation with questions provided for you to have about that specific topic. And they would give you suggestions on where to have this date in the community and in the home environment. They would give you some kind of ways to set the stage, if you will, and also suggestions on how to share your answers and how to listen to your partner share the answers. And this was just a very good season for Barry and I to really have that intentional time, even at home, when we're just at home together on an evening. Hey, let's use this time to connect at a deeper level. And so we did that over the last several months. And since the quarantine has happened, there were some questions in the appendix at the end of the book that were just like, hey, these are some other great conversation starter questions. And so I made a handy dandy little copy of that page for easy reference. And Barry and I can use that to start a conversation. And the date that I'm suggesting, I'm going to call it a coffee date, but it's really just a very intentional time where you sit down and have a deep conversation. And Barry and I like to do this on our back porch. We sit in our comfy chairs and we get our caffeinated beverage and we just sit there and we just visit. And we want it to go a little bit deeper than, to-dos and chores and how was your day. Those questions are fine and good, and but also just make sure that we're really asking intentional questions. And so I have my little sheet with me to give you an example. What do you want your life to look like, say 3 years from now? How do you see your work changing in the future? Now, this question was not necessarily designed for post-quarantine, but it absolutely is a thought now. How do you feel about our physical home? Are there any architectural changes you'd like to make or decorations? What do you think your life would be like if you lived 100 years from now? How would you compare yourself as a mother or father to your own mother or father? So as you can see, these questions are more on the thought-provoking side, and just if you really allow yourself to go there, you can think of this question and share your heart, and then also listen to your partner, share their heart. If you don't have this book or this resource, I just quickly Googled deep conversations or deep questions or thought-provoking questions, and I'm sure you'll get a million different links and just pick out. It honestly doesn't take that many questions, 3 to 4 questions, and you can probably have a really nice long conversation. And so you could each pick some, you could alternate. And the frequency that you do this during quarantine can be absolutely up to you. And even after quarantine, I know of a coworker who shared that he does something similar. He didn't call it this exactly, but once a week with his spouse. And this was, again, not a quarantine related post. It was just a life post. So that is my creative date. I'm going to call it a coffee date, and just making space to have a conversation and to maybe even do a little research before the conversation to get a handful of questions so that you can walk into a deep conversation with your person. Enjoy this time at home and make some meaningful memories.